So in the Boruto franchise, there's been many new additions into the series so far, such as the increase in technology with the use of scientific ninja tools, many new villain organizations into the Boruto anime and manga, such as the Byakuya gang, Mujina Bennett's gang, and of course the Kata organization. But I don't think there's any addition that is more important than the inclusion of the Otsutsuki Clan. Heading into Boruto, there was much to be desired about the Otsutsuki Clan due to Kaguya's sudden appearance at the end of the 4th Great Ninja War. Kishimoto threw her thick ass in after Black Zetsu stabbed Madara in the back, and as much as people still complain about Kaguya being essentially the final villain of Naruto and not it being Madara, Kaguya's introduction opened up tons of lore, especially with the Otsutsuki Clan. Coming from the Naruto manga and Shippuden anime, we knew that Kaguya had betrayed the clan and built a white Zetsu army in order to defend herself from the likes of Momoshiki and Kinshiki who were trying to find her. But my question is, why the fuck would you have white Zetsus to protect you though? Especially against Momoshiki and Kinshiki. I don't know what you're thinking, Kaguya, but let's just ignore that for now. The Boruto anime and manga definitely has emphasized its importance of the Otsutsuki Clan so far and has played a very impactful role on both Boruto and Kawaki. In fact, right now the duo currently are 80% Otsutsukified due to the Karma Seal extraction onto their bodies. Antagonists such as Momoshiki and Ishiki have played a huge role in the series so far, and with the introduction of Code, who's also trying to become an Otsutsuki, it looks like we're getting into even more of the Otsutsuki way and its lore. So for today's video, I'm going to explain and discuss just what the hell is the Otsutsuki Clan and how do they operate. Now it's the summertime, it's time to grind out these videos, and we're going all summer long. Let's get straight to it. So the Otsutsuki Clan consists of alien parasites where they invade planet to planet. Usually the clan sends out a pair of Otsutsuki to each planet that they will infiltrate, and in this pair there is a high-ranking Otsutsuki and a low-ranking Otsutsuki, and every time they invade a planet, the pair always takes a 10 tails with them. At the time of this recording, there are only 58 chapters in the Boruto manga, and it hasn't been mentioned how and where the 10 tails is created. But when a pair of Otsutsukis and a 10 tails invade a planet, this is where the two Otsutskis plant a divine tree, and this divine tree of course is the 10 tails itself. In order to plant the 10 tails which will turn into the divine tree, you have to feed a living Otsutsuki to the 10 tails. It is expected that the lower ranking Otsutsuki will be the sacrifice and be fed to the 10 tails. However, before the Otsutsuki gets fed to the 10 tails, this is where they prepare a vessel by giving someone else a Karma Seal. Initially, when Kaguya and Ishiki came to Earth to bear a chakra fruits, it was planned for Kaguya to be sacrificed to the 10 tails in order to create the divine tree. However, for whatever reason that we don't know of right now, Kaguya betrayed Ishiki and almost killed him by catching him off guard. This is where Ishiki found Jigen and infiltrated his body, controlling his entire body and the way he talks. The only problem was that Jigen was not a perfect vessel, since Ishiki was dying and did not have enough energy to implant the Karma Seal, since it's a very big undertaking. If you want to learn about how the Karma Seal works, check out the video I made on the Karma Seal. The Kata organization was then created thousands of years later, where Jigen had one primary objective: to find a perfect vessel so he could feed Jigen's body to the 10 tails, so once Ishiki reincarnates from his perfect vessel, he could have the chakra fruit once it grows thousands of years later. Of course, this perfect vessel was my boy Kawaki, and the rest is history, where Kashinkoji betrayed Kara by killing Jigen and forcing Ishiki to resurrect in Jigen's body, while Kawaki fools Ishiki with a shadow clone and stomps the shit out of him. So as mentioned with feeding a living Otsutsuki to the 10 tails, this is the only way for a 10 tails to plant and convert itself into a divine tree. From this point on, the divine tree is planted onto the planet, where it literally begins to suck chakra from all living life forces on that planet. Think of it like a mosquito sucking all of your blood from your body, and once you don't have any blood left or have suffered enough blood loss, you will eventually die. Same thing goes on here with the divine tree. The tree will continuously keep on sucking the chakra from every living thing on the planet until there's no life force remaining on that specific planet. This is where the divine tree will produce a large chakra fruit, which is the primary goal for invading Otsutskis, to produce and eat a chakra fruit from the divine tree. And in these chakra fruits, they contain tons of energy and genetic information, where the Otsutsuki eat them to gain power and update their genetics and life force. This is literally how the Otsutsuki evolved their species, by going planet to planet, planting the 10 tails and harvesting a chakra fruit in order to gain more power. They do this continuously until they become this so-called god, as Ishiki mentioned in Boruto chapter 56. As mentioned before, the Otsutsuki clan indeed does have a hierarchy. We do know that there are ranking Otsutskis, such as with Kaguya and Kinshiki being considered lower rank, while Momoshiki and Ishiki are higher rank. In Boruto episode 202, when Sasuke was exploring the Otsutsuki dimension, we did see some stone tablets that represented all the ranking Otsutskis. However, on the right side there seemed to be 2 stone tablets that looked destroyed. So far in the Boruto series, however, we still don't know what those 2 destroyed tablets actually are, whether they're rogue Otsutskis or they were killed in action. And with the fact that there is a hierarchy within the clan, is there a leader like the Otsutsuki King? That would be pretty damn interesting, considering when Sasuke was investigating Kaguya's palace back in Boruto episode 52 where he fought Kinshiki, there was a couple statues that did look like Otsutsukis, and I'm thinking, is that like the Otsutsuki King or something like that? And I do want to mention, when it comes to these Otsutsukis in the Boruto series, I guess the one thing that is becoming pretty repetitive is their final motivations, which of course is to get a chakra fruit and update themselves with power in order to become this so-called Otsutsuki god. Now that is pretty interesting, it does set up a lot of lore. However, I'm definitely seeing a pattern with these villains in the Boruto manga. When it comes to Ishiki, while he was living inside of Jigen's body, the one goal that he had for the Kata organization was to harvest a chakra fruit once he gets a perfect vessel like Kawaki. When it comes to Momoshiki, we find out later on, after he took control of Boruto's body, he wanted to feed Kawaki to the Ten Tails in order to harvest a chakra fruit thousands of years later. Now with Code having the white karma seal from Ishiki being a imperfect vessel, one of his goals is actually to feed either Boruto or Kawaki to the Ten Tails in order to harvest the chakra fruit. Are you seeing the repetition here with these Boruto villains? What I'm trying to say here is that when it comes to the main antagonists of the Boruto manga, their final motivations are kind of getting repetitive. With Ishiki, Momoshiki, and now with Code, their objectives are basically to harvest a chakra fruit in order to gain more power and become this Otsutsuki god. Now that isn't bad at all. I do think that when it comes to villains in anime and manga and fiction in general, one of their goals of course is to gain world power and get stronger. It's either to get stronger or have dominance over the world, and that isn't bad at all. In fact, it is very interesting and fun to watch. However, the one thing I do want to see in the future is for an Otsutsuki not to have this motivation. Of course, with all these Otsutsuki such as Momoshiki, Ishiki, and now Code, who's I guess I would say a dud Otsutsuki with the white karma seal, their end goal motivations is to basically harvest the chakra fruit. Now that is not bad, but I would love to see an Otsutsuki that has a completely different goal. Maybe one of these future Otsutskis that we could see wants to eradicate the shinobi world. Maybe they don't like how the shinobi world operates. We saw this with Ishiki. He thinks being a shinobi is useless. He thinks that they're used like a sacrificial tool. However, his ultimate end goal was just to harvest a chakra fruit. Now I wouldn't say Ishiki and Momoshiki are bad villains just because they have this repetitive end goal. However, I would love to see a new Otsutsuki that has a completely different motivation and does not just want a chakra fruit in order to gain more power. These hungry power Otsutskis is starting to get a little bit repetitive in the Boruto series so far, and while I wouldn't say it's bad, I don't want it to become a repetition for the rest of the series. I do think it's fine with Momoshiki and Ishiki as it does set up lore within the series. Like I said, with this potential Otsutsuki King, I hope we do get introduced to him and the rest of the hierarchy, because I would love to see more about the Otsutsuki clan. There's still a lot of information that we don't know of, and so far in the Boruto manga, this is all we know. We do know that they come in pairs. They want to harvest the chakra fruit in order to gain power to become this Otsutsuki god and update and evolve their species. Now that is pretty interesting, but I do want to see who is the top guy, who is the person who is calling out the shots, giving orders to the other Otsutskis, the lower rank Otsutskis, to go planet to planet in order to harvest a chakra fruit and gain power. I'd love to see what is the origin of the Otsutsuki clan, because there is so much lore that we still don't know of. I'm hoping Kishimoto continues to go more into this clan, because this is the main focus of the series. And I guess the one thing that I'm not hoping for in the future is that once we get to that episode 1 action where we see Boruto and Kawaki fight on the Hokage mountains, I'm hoping it's not over a chakra fruit. I'm hoping it's that, oh, I just want to gain power, because even though it is pretty interesting, it's starting to become a little bit repetitive among these Otsutskis. I'm hoping that Kawaki in the future, I'm hoping that he has a different ideology. Maybe he wants to eradicate the shinobi world. Maybe he wants to do something like that. I don't know, but I'm hoping that in the future of the Boruto series, once we get introduced to more Otsutskis, I'm hoping that their motivations are different from just gaining a chakra fruit. So let me know what you think about the Otsutsuki clan in the comment section below, and tell me, who is your favorite Otsutsuki? Is it Momoshiki, Ishiki, maybe even Kaguya? My next video is going to be talking about Code, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell as well, and have a good day. Peace.